Hey, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and thank you all for tuning in. Today, I am going to do a much anticipated reading vlog. So, I am going to be reading the backlist of Kennedy Ryan, and at this point, I'm sure everyone on BookTube, Bookstagram, Book Talk has heard of Kennedy Ryan or has read a book from Kennedy Ryan because she's everywhere. The book that's really catapulting us and putting her on the map is going to be Before I Let Go, which is the first book I've read. I will be talking about that in one moment. But if you know anything about Kennedy Ryan, you are going to know that she doesn't shy away from hard-hitting topics, right? So she's going to talk about everything from domestic violence and domestic abuse. She's going to talk about chronic illness. She is going to talk about death of a spouse or a loved one. So you name it, she's going to talk about it, but she is going to handle it with the utmost care. And as someone who is a Cancer and an empath and sucks up a lot of emotions as it's felt by others, I can tell you I was holding off on reading her books because I was not ready. I was not ready for the emotional dam that was going to break. But at this point, I feel like I can handle it, and I'm honestly tired of having FOMO. Here I am, reading through her backlist and hopefully coming to you all with composure, because I don't want to be the girl that's on camera snot nose with tears streaming down her face, which is liable to happen with Kennedy, right? Like anything you thought, like if you thought that you was a G and you were strong enough that you can handle whatever on page, I'm pretty sure Kennedy Ryan is going to find a way to like get a tear or two out of you. So that being said, I already started this month with Before I Let Go. This is a second chance romance between Yasmin and Josiah. They are in their 40s, which I love to see older characters. One of the things that I will say as a woman who is in her 30s, I am no longer in the space where I can relate to that college romance. So even though I will still read it, I appreciate seeing older characters. And 40 is not old by any means. So I just appreciate seeing mature adults in my story. So this, Before I Let Go, is a touching story about a couple who is so intertwined because they were building a life together. They have kids in high school that are experiencing life-changing events that they have to be part of. They still own a business together. All the meanwhile, they are no longer in the space in which they are a couple. So how are they navigating the world together? Because they have experienced a loss that broke them apart and caused them to lead down two different pathways. It is a rekindling of an old flame between the two, navigating those waters of whether or not they can get back to loving each other in a healthy way. This tackles a lot, right? It tackles the stigmatism of Black men going to therapy. The amount of Black culture that is shared in this book. So everything from the food that we're eating and we're discussing, right? We're talking about grits, we're talking about chitlins, we're talking about music, and we're talking about the Temptations and the Commodores. That felt like a warm hug and a loving embrace to me. The discussion of having a Black romance between two Black characters and you getting to see the inner workings of, you know, some of those conversations that you have in the household, right? So we talk about both of these characters attended HBCUs, and then they are now raising kids who go to predominantly white institutions, and that discussion of you being proud of your institution and your education experience that you had, and how that translates to what you decide to do with your kids. Do you decide that you want them to have a better life, and so you send them to a PWI? And another thing I really appreciate Kennedy for is her appreciation for soul, right? How she talks about soul being a homemaker or a housewife and dedicating and making those sacrifices for her children, and how that is valuable and it is impactful. And a lot of the times we look at homemakers or housewives as less than, right? As someone who was taking the easier road out, right? And what you get to see a glimpse of is that Soul is doing the work, right? So she is running herself ragged. Right? She's dealing with her husband, who is a douchebag nonetheless, and who kind of holds the purse strings and makes the decision, right? Of he gets to say whatever he wants and do whatever he wants because he is the breadwinner, right? So while that is not a primary focus, I appreciated Kennedy Ryan for adding that in, right? It added some additional flair and insight to the friendships that support Yasmin, right? I absolutely adore and love Hendrix. And she was the rich auntie, right? Like, she is my spirit animal in terms of, while she doesn't have any kids, she loves and understands the relationship that these women have with their kids and will help in any way that she can. You don't have to do it all. You've got a tribe and a village, and I'm here to help you out. And that was beautiful in itself, right? To be able to see your friends and know when they're struggling. Talked a lot about the different themes of, self-care and friendships, but what I haven't talked about is the love. This is soulmate type behavior, right? Josiah and Yasmin, it does not matter who they're with, when it is, they have loved each other since the moment they laid eyes, and they will continue to love each other. And it was beautiful to see. So I was blessed and fortunate. This is the first one I picked up, but it definitely wasn't the last. Currently, for this video, I am reading first in the Hoop series, and that is going to be Long Shot. I am currently 8% in, so I'm not too far into the story to be able to tell you all the thematics and what's working, but I will say this is the story of Iris and August, and it is an NBA sports romance. He's loving Iris just for the woman she is, right? Having her own ambition, and she's able to tap into more than just the glitz and the glam and the fame. She is able to, talk about his father, who is deceased, and who she knew about his sports career. She's able to get him to talk about his troubles and issues, right? And so he is enamored with her, but unfortunately she is in a relationship with his rival Caleb, who, again, only 8% in, and I can't stand Caleb. So I can't wait to finish reading this book. I'm going to give you all an update. Really, I'm just here to say, Caleb, Jared, baby, I'm ready to see what your romance is in August. Sweep her off her feet. Hey y'all, it is check-in time. I am 94% of the way in Long Shot, and I know I probably should have just updated you once I was finished, but I just want to know why this isn't labeled romantic suspense, because there's romance, but there's suspense. Like, I am on pins and needles, like, awaiting the end of this, because I can't take Caleb no more. Hey y'all, I'm checking in because I'm supposed to be starting Rio by Kennedy Ryan for this vlog, or I'm supposed to be starting The Kingmaker. What did I do instead? I finished Block Shot in a day and a half. Yep. That happened, and I don't regret it. Like, Jared and Banner and the, like, taboo, forbidden angst of it all, it got me real good, y'all. So, last time I checked in with you all, I had just finished Long Shot, and that's the first in the series with August and Iris. Loved it. Gave it 4.5 stars. I couldn't give it 5 just because I didn't really feel the insta love of it all, but I truly understood the connection. Once I finished reading Long Shot, I wound up watching Love and Basketball. Iris and August are absolutely nothing like Monica and Q, but they gave me the feels, right? Like, the love of basketball, the competitive, like the banter between the two, the undeniability in the connection, no matter who's the partner, that was very thematic. And so I had to watch Love and Basketball. I really enjoyed seeing how August loved Iris and allowed her to make the decision, set the pace, and for her to be able to, at the end of the day, get her revenge, because he knew it was about her and less about him. Blockshot is no different. Blockshot, it has so much love that's wrapped into it that you can't help but to feel some sort of way and be moved, like most Kennedy Ryan's books. But I will say, if you do not like cheating, don't pick it up. If you do not like assholes, do not pick it up. If you do not like seeing the bad guy win, do not pick this up, because baby, this is going to push every single button you have. Like, this book got me to the point where I'm like, am I truly a feminist? Because the way that Jared is speaking and making these moves, like, am I the problem? Because this is where it's at for me. This is a second chance romance with cheating, and it's cheating on a good guy. Like, Zoe is undeniably good. Like, yes, he had a little bit of manipulation towards the end, but outside of that, they call him Saint Zoe for a reason. And you have to put that aside. But Kennedy makes it difficult as hell. Like, she's like, you are going to be torn every step of the way, but you are going to love the ride. And when I say love the ride, I mean that drive-in movie theater scene is going to live rent-free in my mind. Reading Blockshot and Longshot, I realized the phrase or trope that gets me going is, can I? Every time I heard August or Jared say, can I lost it. Can I is like the good girl for me. Like, it just gets the engine revved up. Like, asking me, can I? You sure in the hell can. Please, by all means. My guest. Stay tuned for Real and The Kingmaker coming up next.
Excuse me, ma'am. Miss Kennedy Ryan, I love you, sister girl, but you can't keep interconnecting all of these series. I've got to end this vlog. You done just invited Grip into Kenan and Lotus's story, and I wasn't planning on reading it. I had absolutely zero intentions of reading the Grip trilogy. But you want to go ahead and just say, oh, let's make him a thing. No, ma'am. I still got two more books to read. Like, I've got one book to finish in this vlog and another one to read. Like, I've got to get off of this train. Please, stop.
Hey, y'all, this is my final check-in, because your girl got to get off of this Kennedy Ryan train. Like, she is taking my blood, my sweat, my tears. Like, she has claimed it all for herself. And it's only January 11th. Like, I need something for the rest of the year, and she can't keep doing this to me. So, that being said, I want to do a recap. As you all could see, I'm a mood reader, so I'm not sticking to the plan. That's my plan. So I'm going to close out this vlog talking about Hookshot, which is the final in the trilogy for the Hoop series. Of course, there's novellas and other tie-ins, but I did read Hookshot, and then I also read Rio, which is what I'm going to be closing out the vlog with. So, first, just to give you guys, again, a little bit of summary or recap, it starts off with Longshot, which Longshot was suspenseful, right? Like, it had your heart in, like, a grip vice, and you were just praying that at the end of it all, everything, works out. Now, your heart rate was pumping for a completely different reason, because Blockshot is where it's pretty much, like the angst, the spice, whereas Hookshot is the sweet and the sultry. Like, it's the spicy Cajun voodoo, like, goodness. And I loved it. Each one of them has their different flavor, obviously, has their own appeal, but I knew that I was going to love Lotus and I was going to love Kenan, and this book just did it for me. So a couple of things. Lotus has kind of she's going through a cleanse, right? So there was a traumatic trigger concern for rape or child molestation. And so she's kind of at this point in her journey where she's taking a break from men, and taking a break from sexual activity. So that obviously is the opportune time when Mr. Right, who is Keenan, comes along and flies into her orbit, and she's captivated by him. But she's struggling because she is not at a point where she can invest in emotional intimacy, and that is something she knows if she gets involved with Keenan, that they're going to need. So it is their journey. Also, Keenan is divorced, and I would say recently, within the last 2 to 3 years. His ex-wife, Bridget, cheated on him with a fellow basketball player, and he is trying to navigate just being attentive to their daughter that they have joint custody over, and getting into the relationship with them. So this is different in relation to, in the first book you see in Long Shots, Iris has a child as well. So this isn't the first time in the Hoop series we get to see a child in the mix, but this is an older child. So I believe Simone is like between 11 and 14. I can't remember her exact age, but so that plays a difference, right? Because she is aware of her parents' relationship, and she is aware of when her father starts to date someone else. I love that Kennedy Ryan, who is an author, she does her research and she ties in so much information. One of the things that she tackles in this book, which is I commend her on, is each one of the men are involved with the NBA or a part of the NBA, with the exclusion of Jarrett, but he's a part of the process of the NBA. And so one of the things that they talk about in Hookshot is the WNBA, and the disparity between the pay gaps between what his sister Kenya makes, and the highest salary that's paid to a professional WNBA player versus the highest that can be made for so I think it's like 50,000 in comparison to millions, right? And I thought that was expertly done, and I appreciate learning about the Big O, who is Oscar Robertson, I believe. And so that was a fact that she just sprinkled in there, and I ate it up. One of the things that I could relate to is Lotus mentioning how she felt hurt by, which seems irrational, right? But that Bridget is her antithesis. And having that comparison, whenever you're entering some sort of romantic relationship, and you know who that person's partner was, or former partner or ex was, you automatically do a comparison, right? And so that initial feeling that Lotus had, knowing that Bridget was blonde and blue-eyed and big breast, like, it is one of those things you're like, how could that man who married her and who had a child with her and who had a life with her want me, especially if she was already feeling a certain way. So I love that it was a diverse friend group setting. So you had Yari, who was Dominican, and Billy, who is white. But Billy's storyline was messy boots, but I like how they wrapped it around at the end, when and the amount of bruja, right, that you get to see of Lotus and her being connected in that lineage and that power told Billy to be careful what she wished for. When that twist came for Billy's life, I was like, couldn't spell it out any better. This is an extremely mature romance. I will say Lotus did a phenomenal job of balancing her desires and her wants, understanding how that coincides or may go against what maybe in the best interest of what Keenan needs and his family needs, right? So sacrificing her desire and sacrificing the relationship that could possibly form with Keenan, especially given the circumstance of what Simone went through, knowing that, hey, as a parent and as someone, and she doesn't have children, right? But she looks back on her life and she knew what it was like to have a parent who didn't choose her. And so she sacrificed her wants and desires for the embetterment of the relationship between Keenan and his child, which makes a big difference. And you can see how Simone was able to come to that on her own accord. The situation with her mother at the end, right? I will tell you, under majority of the circumstances, Lotus is a better woman than me.
because I still will need God to work on me and to have a hand on me in relation to if my mother, in this circumstance, if my mother is standing at, heaven's gates, do I ask him to let her in or not? I feel like they handled the situation with Chase exceptionally well. Those scenes were definitely like, somebody just needs to punch him in the face one good time for him to understand. But violence is probably not the answer. And obviously, like I said, Keenan and Lotus handled themselves accordingly. All in all, phenomenal end to a series, phenomenal book. So, which will lead me into my final, which is my favorite read. So, I've read Before I Let Go. I loved it. Block shots, hook shots, long shot, but Real is that deal. Like, it is 5 stars. Like, every other book in here, like, no lie, Kennedy Ryan is not getting less than a 4.5. Every other book in the series, this vlog that I've read, are right at that brink or right at that cusp. I think Before I Let Go could have been that 5-star, but so much of it was spoiled for obvious reasons, right? There's a lot of triggering topics that Kennedy doesn't shy away from that you want to make sure people know. But this one, I knew that there was chronic illness rep, but I didn't know everything that there was going into this, so it left me to explore it on my own. But either way, whether I had been spoiled or not, the hype is truly real, and it deserves everything. Like, Real is a 5-star, standout, amazing book, and I can't wait to have Kennedy Ryan sign it. Like, when I tell you, I made notes on notes on notes on notes. Like, this book, I was bawling like a baby, like crying snot-nosed tears under the hairdryer, like trying to compose myself, and every single time I got myself together, and again, this is the 10% on, like every time I got myself together, she would just knock me back down, and I got back up, and I was like, I want more, give me more, and Kennedy definitely delivered. So this is the story of Neva and Cannon, and this is the Hollywood era romance, and this is covering a biopic of Desi Blue, right? So one of the things that I absolutely love that this was a story within a story. So you get Neva and Cannon's love story, and you get to see in the present day how they are taking a journey back in time, but you also get another story with Desi and with Cal, but you get to see Desi's story, right? And so it's the 2-for-1 that really makes this stand out and makes it a love story, and a love story for both, right? The comparisons and the contrast. I will say, I was emotional probably from the prologue, because every single time they talked about Cannon and they talked about his mother and they talked about that documentary, it just hit. And I have not lost a parent. I can only imagine what it's like to go through and see and have to be strong and document your mother's journey and being able to put that into the world. And I thought it was exceptionally beautiful that Kennedy Ryan made a character so strong, and to be able to go through that twice in life. So again, not to spoil this book, but you will get to see that Cannon is going to experience that similar journey with Neva, because she has an illness that flares up and that really takes a toll on her, and in part takes a toll on him, and how they make something beautiful out of that journey and out of that experience. I'm going to tell you, like, the layers of this book continues to blossom and unfold. Like, I'm reading this book, and it wasn't until it was called out, and I'm sure it's probably at the 40 or 50% mark, but the idea that Cannon's mother loved photography so much that she named him Cannon, like, it didn't even register to me. Like, that's how daft I probably was just reading the story, of not knowing that he was named after a camera. But so some of the things that I found, like, this is a Grump Sunshine. This is a office place romance. Cal irked my ass, I will tell you that right now. But I respect that he had a vision for what he wanted, but he also had a desire for Desi.
and he tended to frustrate me, simply because I felt like he was malicious, or he had some of those intents in terms of being manipulative. But again, I can't fault him, understanding that at the end of the day, it all works out, right? It all worked in his favor. I can't imagine what it was like to live in a time, and racism obviously is still a thing, but in a time where you would be more successful overseas than you were here, and you felt like a human in overseas versus here, right? In the U.S. And so I can't imagine what it is like for him as a man to walk through that journey. And so you get to the beauty of what Kennedy Ryan does is she brings so many historical elements. She talks about Josephine Baker, and she talks about James Baldwin and the experience of why they decided to become expatriates and to leave the United States. I thought it was beautiful how you have representation of, I would say, more than likely, in one regards, we can assume that Desi is bisexual, but to see that character, had a space in Hollywood for us to be able to promote her, and to be able to share her story, how it didn't matter that these people just loved and were attracted to her energy. I love being able to see that. Going back into Canon and Neva, the story about family. So Canon blew me away when the sister came in, and so Neva's sister's relationship is extremely fraught. And they haven't spoken in years. Have to be probably like 15 years or more. And again, there's a circumstance in which Neva truly needs her family and needs, them to be a part of her life. There's such a strained relationship. But when her sister stepped foot in the hospital, when she meets Canon, he don't give up. He does not care, baby. Like, I'm gonna tell you, what you're not gonna do is disrespect my woman. I don't care who you is, mama, sister, best friend, twin, whoever you are. You're gonna have to go through me to get to her. And I lost it when I said, yes, sir. Canon is a director, and he can direct me. The scene of them in the camera room with the chef's kiss. I could go on and on, but this vlog is already long. I will say there's so much chemistry between the characters. I get just going back into when he first heard Canon first heard Neva sing, and how he saw that performance, and how that has kind of led him, how he's looking past her, the beauty of looking past her exterior and what she does for the film industry, and really getting to know and fall in love with her as a person. You can see that his love is unconditional. If there's no other love story that you are going to believe, that the man loves the woman, this is the one. He will walk through hell on earth for her. He will, the fire, the flood, whatever you need him to do, but he is going to be with this woman, and he's going to give her his all. I will say, if there's any book that I tell you to pick up, it would be, because of all of the buzz, Real is Worth It, Before I Let Go. If you are a sports romance, go ahead and pick up the Hoop series. You can't go wrong with Kennedy Ryan, and I know I should be reading Kingmaker, but I'm gonna have to put this on hold because I need a break. Emotionally, I am taxed and told. I need something extremely light. But if you are ready to jump in, start wherever you like. She's also got the Grip trilogy. This is my sign off. I'm going to ask that you give Kennedy Ryan a shot, because I'm talking about shots in basketball. Leave me a basketball emoji in the comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye.